Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Kid Stays in the Podcast. I'm your host, Trey Cooper, and joining me today is...
Squidman Cooper.
Ugh.
I didn't have a lot of time, Dad. You put me on the spot.
Squidman Cooper. Joining me today, as always, is Solomon Cooper, and today we're going to have a very brief, because that's how much time it deserves to be talked about.
Brief down in the reef.
Oh, God.
What?
It just keeps getting worse. We're going to be having a very brief discussion on what was one of the largest opening weekends on Memorial Day, or Memorial Day weekends, of Disney's live-action remake of The Little Mermaid.
Hooray!
I want to say off rip that this is not going to be a conversation about how much I hate all these live-action remakes, which I do. And certainly not about the bizarre insistence that some people on the internet have for animated fantasy characters only being of whatever race they wanted them to be or they were in the animated movie. The reason that The Little Mermaid was white in the original movie, do you know why?
Because they were racist?
No, because the man drew her that way.
Okay.
Not because that's what color mermaids are. So, yeah, let's get that out of the way. And I want to make sure that nobody thinks that has anything to do with my feelings about this movie. And I also want to say that Halle Bailey
Yes.
was quite
Phenomenal.
quite great as Ariel.
Excellent, I'd say. Voice. Immaculate.
Yeah. There is a huge problem, I think, with the movie, and that is that the good things from the movie are all the things that were already good about the animated movie, and almost every single thing that was added to the movie for the live action was either just as good as that, but usually made it actively worse.
Sure.
And I would say one of the biggest things, you didn't agree with this, but I thought one of the biggest problems was that The Little Mermaid, if all of you remember the story, spends about a third of the movie almost without her voice because she makes the deal with Ursula the Sea Witch.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that every single aspect of that part of the movie was worse, and there's nothing that Halle or Halle Bailey could have. Is it Halle Bailey? Halle Bailey, yeah.
Yeah, it's Halle.
Halle Bailey cannot be her name. Halle Bailey. There's just no amount of work that she could have done with the shallow material that's already there to make it as fun as it was in the animated version. Because at the end of the day, she's a human being, and you can't animate a human being's face the same way you can cartoon character's face.
And you can't emote the same way.
Yeah, like all of the fun stuff from the movie where she's like trying to go to dinner parties and she doesn't know how to use a fork, they cut all that out. And yes, there's a little bit more, we get a little bit more texture to the nature of the island that Prince Eric lives on. But other than that, we don't get any of the fun scenes and character work that happened in the original movie.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm going on a rant. We're not going to make this very long, so oh my God, it's only been 3 minutes. I feel like I've been talking about this movie for an hour.
It felt like it over here as well. Why'd you just pass it on to me? No.
There's some things that I want to say.
Well, yeah, let's talk about some of the new songs. I think that'd be fun.
Okay.
I really liked. What were your opinions on Prince Eric's new song?
Couldn't hum you a bar of it. Nobody will ever think about it tomorrow.
Wait, were you there?
Yes.
Or did you go to the bathroom in the middle of it?
I was there.
You were?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. I feel like you went into the bathroom.
It was fine-ish while it was happening.
I liked it. I didn't think it was anything super duper.
Can you hum me a single bar about it?
No, but I remember liking it.
A single bar about it. I didn't even ask you to sing me a bar from the song. I was going to sing me a song. Sing me a song about the song.
Hum you a song about the song.
Yeah.
I liked it mainly because I'm a baritone, and that was a very obviously baritone song, and I felt like I could have sung that song very easily. Not like the same goodness, but sing it in general. So I was just excited to hear a new fun baritone song. And but yeah, I didn't think it was anything super crazy. I don't think it's going to be a new smash hit.
It won't. No one even remembers it now.
Okay, I don't know the name of it.
Everyone forgot about the song 1 second after it was over.
What about that Scuttlebutt song?
So the Scuttlebutt song is like a rappy song. It's very, 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 very Lin Miranda Manuel.
Yeah. We should also talk about that bird. What's his name? Say it for everyone to hear.
The seagull?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Yeah.
Scuttles? Scudder?
His name's not Scuttles.
Scuttle? What is it?
Scoot.
It's not Scooter. Anyway, what does it matter?
Yeah, that bird is played by Aquafina, which I personally thought was the weirdest choice ever made by anyone.
Why did you just skip past the Scuttlebutt song? You just said the song and then
I was just letting them know that the bird was played by that person, and that song is sung by the bird.
Oh, well, you just said, let's talk about Scuttlebutt, and you said, and then can we talk about this bird?
Yeah. So it's sung by Aquafina.
It's fun and kind of catchy in the way that all of his songs are, but it just sounded so derivative of his own music. So even when he's being derivative of himself, it's still pretty fun. But I kind of was starting to feel a little bit fatigued by that.
Really?
Yeah. So
really
it's been like
liked
so many. It's like he's like writing every single Disney movie soundtrack, and this like they're starting to feel pretty familiar.
I don't feel so.
I still like him. I'm just saying that song specifically did not feel like he was flexing his creative muscles. Let's just say that. And on top of that, it happens in the most bizarre time in the movie. It's this very jokey, very silly, like rap song about gossiping.
Yeah.
And it takes place directly after some horrible tragedy?
Right before the tragedy, because the Scuttlebutt is about said tragedy.
Okay.
It's the part whenever she finds out that Eric's getting married to that Ursula lady.
Yes, and right after she kills his dad, kills her dad, right?
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
No.
Yeah, you're right. Because it happens at the very end.
Yeah, you're just wrong.
Yeah. Well, either way, bunch of bad things
happened. It was
happen.
just a weird for you because you knew it was about to happen because we saw him see her.
Yeah.
And then they got married, and so you were just like, "Oh, this is a fun song," and I was like, "Oh, this is sad again."
Yeah, it was just weirdly placed.
I thought the song was fun, catchy, but it wasn't a weird spot.
But you probably can't sing that either.
And I was like, "I got
Yes, exactly. Was there another new song? I feel like there was one more.
There might have been, but I can't think of it.
Yeah.
So
again, like I said, added nothing to the movie, and some actively made it worse. Let's talk about
the fact that it's live action.
Yeah, the big elephant in the room, which is that by choosing to not just do live action, they went the Lion King route and decided to do photorealistic live action. It created a entire cast of characters that were beloved in the original movie who just either fall flat or are in some ways outright appalling to look at.
So let's talk about our good friend Flounder. He's a fish, as we all know. And something that you may know about fish is that they have no thoughts. And whenever you look at a fish, it doesn't seem like they have any emotions whatsoever.
Yeah, on account of they don't.
They are fish.
Yeah, they have that dead-eyed look.
Yep. And now we get to watch another sad, empty fish talk.
Yep. And it just seems ridiculous.
It's
in some cases horrifying.
I liked it only because I thought it was so unbelievably funny to watch just a no-brain thing speak to me. There's something about the way that his eyes feel so empty was just funny. Yeah,
because he can't emote at all. They could only make it's like with the problem they have with the Lion King. When you don't exaggerate their features in any way because you're trying to go for photorealism, a fish has no ability to emote. You've never been looking in a fish tank and started laughing because a fish made a funny face at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it can't do anything. And then the part where he's like flopping in the boat trying to tell her a thing in the movie, that's funny, and he's like sitting on his belly, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it's not funny. It's just he's just there sitting on his belly.
Yeah.
But in this, it was like horrible because now he's alive and he's flopping there like a fish that's dying, but he's just talking like normal. completely ruined the character, and he was one of my favorite Disney characters. Sebastian fared a bit better,
I think he did a lot better.
but it's mostly because crabs already walk in a silly way and look silly, kind of. They have eyeballs
a
up on
lobster.
stalks. No, he's a crab.
I thought he was something else.
No, he's a crab.
I knew he was a crustacean,
Yeah, because he's a crab.
but is he not a different kind of crab?
No, he's just a crab.
Okay, sorry. Continue. I thought he did well.
Yeah, he did well because of that, but it was still a bit off-putting.
It was kind of odd.
But the weirdest thing also was there's like scenes where they're showing like seabird like go into the water and get a fish and eat it, and like Ursula's like eating shrimpies or whatever, and they're like making it to where we're not supposed to feel bad about those fish. That's just how nature is.
Yeah.
Because we didn't hear that fish talk. I think I told you this whenever we were like walking out of the movie. I would have preferred they would have tried to lean into some dark humor and had it to where the seabird's grabbing the fish that it's like, no, my family. You know what I mean? Or a bunch of little fish being like, mommy, something.
Yeah.
Because it just seemed so it seemed like such a not well thought out world because of that.
Yeah, they just basically ate a person, and we were just like, oh, not again, silly bird.
And there was like a mild mention of the reason that the mer people, especially King Triton, doesn't like the humans is because like of pollution and whatever. Mm-hmm. But the only sense of pollution that we get is when their ships sink. And there's a strong implication that they're the ones that are sinking their ships.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a ship sinking back in those days is not really polluting the ocean that much.
Also,
it's just wooden
I was
ships.
gonna say, isn't wood like?
Yeah, they're not like oil tankers and stuff like they are now. Mm-hmm. So I just thought that was kind of weak.
Weak sauce.
Yeah, they did their best with trying to recapture the magic of the Disney animated movie for the musical numbers.
I think they did a pretty good job with Under the Sea. I thought that was awesome. Everything looked really fun, really cool, really whimsical.
It was as good as they could do with what they had. I'll say that or with the style they chose, because it's weird to have all these photorealistic looking octopuses and mollusks and whatever, and they're doing like dances and stuff.
Yeah.
So again, the whole movie, that's the best thing I can say is like the underwater stuff is off-putting the way it looks.
Sure.
And then you have like Javier Bardem doing a really good job, I thought, as King Triton, but the movie is constantly making you want to laugh at him by having him just stand there waving his arms around like he's supposed to be swimming in the water. You know what I mean?
Oh, that was the silliest thing I've ever seen. It was this grown old man in like armor.
He's not that old.
Sitting there, just like doing like a dinosaur swim, just sitting in place. It was so funny.
Dog paddling. And he's a merman, so really, like I get that the director probably looked at it when he was just sitting there and having his tail moving like they did in like the animated movie. Mm-hmm. And he was like, your arms need to be moving. Why don't you try dog paddling? And then they were like, oh, that looks good enough. But they could have had him just talking, just move his arms around like he's talking. You know what I mean?
But no, he had to look like a goofball.
We're almost out of time because we're only going to do one 15-minute segment on this. But I will say I don't have a problem with Disney taking classic stories that they had turned into animated musicals and telling another version of that story. You know what I mean? There's nothing inherently wrong with using these classic fairy tales like Little Mermaid. I think it's silly to say that Little Mermaid and Sleeping Beauty and those things should get made ever again because Disney already did the best version in a cartoon.
Sure.
That's silly. But they're just remaking the cartoon.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're not telling you a
different story.
the more authentic version. You know what I mean? The darker, because some of those stories are really dark.
Yeah.
And get into that. If you're gonna go make it to live action, then do the original version of the story.
Yeah, make it real.
Don't just redo your cartoon musical in live action. I think it's an abomination that they need to stop. With two exceptions. Cinderella was really good, and I thought The Jungle Book was fantastic.
Do you like Beauty and the Beast?
But those both deviated quite a bit. Beauty and the Beast, again, what makes it work is the stuff that already made it work, and everything they added made it worse. I hated the way that all the live action candlesticks and whatever looked. And they made Belle into an active, snobby biatch going around town complaining about all these provincial people when they never showed them being rude to her ever. So she just looked like a huge snob.
Yeah.
Anyway, A Little Mermaid, I will probably give a 5 out of 10. I'm not even going to make up a rating.
Yeah. I think I'll give it higher than that. 6 out of 10 seashells.
Yeah, see? Couldn't even... We'll be as creative as they were.
Yep.
Anyway, that's our take on The Little Mermaid.
That's our fun.
Because if you wanted to watch it, you already did, and nothing we can say will change your mind.
Mm-hmm. Talk to you later, guys. Have fun.
Peace.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.